Hi, I'm Roz, the face behind Silverwood Jewelry. I have been challenged by my friend David Proud from Proud Business Productions to do the Make Business Personal video challenge. By the way, Dave Proud has done all the videos on my website and he is brilliant. If you've never worked with him, I would recommend you give him a go. Okay, so what I have to do today is answer 4 questions. So the first one is, what is my favorite band or artist? So I've decided that I'm going to go with an artist, and I'm going to say Bob Ross, not necessarily for his work, but for his attitude. I love his attitude. He always says there's no such thing as a mistake, it's all a happy accident. And he has these happy little clouds dotted around and puts a few happy trees in here and there. And I just love watching him work. I love watching the progression of his paintings, how something just grows out of a blank canvas. And yeah, so for now I'd say he's probably one of my favorites. Okay, the second question is, why do I love what I do? I'm a memory catcher. So I capture memories from the beginning of life to the end of life and everything in between. And I know I've said this in videos in the past, capturing memories has become something very important to me because I live very far away from my family and from the place I love, from the home that my soul longs for. So for me, capturing memories was just something that came naturally. So how do I capture memories? So I'll tell you some of the examples of what I've done for myself personally. Is one of the very first things I did when I first started making jewelry was that I brought back a leaf from the creeper that grows outside my mum's back door, and I just stuck it in a little tin, put it in my bag, brought it back, and then I made it into a pendant. And the interesting thing was, at the time that I brought it back, something had happened in my family that caused a lot of dissent and a lot of hurt, and a lot of relationships were damaged and strained. And when I was making the pendant, when I had made it, I actually broke the leaf and put it back together and mended it. And that actually became incredibly significant for me, because as time went on and wounds got healed and relationships were healed, that pendant always reminded me, that leaf with a scar on the back. So on the front, you couldn't really see the break. It just looked like a vein had gone a bit skew. But on the back, there was still a scar. And for me, that became really significant, because things can be fixed, they can be put together, they can be beautiful again, but there'll always be a shadow of a mark. So yeah, and I love being able to do that for people. I love the challenge of taking somebody's story, taking somebody's memories, and basically giving birth to a piece of jewelry that encapsulates all of that, that has the significance, that has the soul, that has the memory. It's tactile, you can hold on to it. When you see it, all these thoughts come back. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just a sentimental old but I am very sentimental, and for me, if I touch something, the memories come flooding back straight away. I know I've used this pendant in videos before as well. This is a rose, and on the back it has my mum's handwriting engraved. My mum is still with us, but she is on the other side of the world, and especially during this time of lockdown, I can't see her, and even if something happened, I wouldn't be able to get back to her. But by wearing this and having it close to my heart, I have a little bit of my mum still there and still with me, and that is really important. And that is one of the jobs that I love doing the most, actually, is engraving people's handwriting, because very often, especially at this time when so many families are losing people and there's nothing, we can't physically come in contact with these people once they've died, handwriting is something that it'll be there. It'll be in a card that they've sent you. It will be available in a letter somewhere. And it doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. That handwriting can still be engraved into a piece of jewelry and can still bring the memory of that person close to you. So, yeah, that's why I love what I do, because I can, it's not always easy to do what I do, especially with memorial jewelry, but it's always an honor and it's always a privilege. And there are times when I feel very overwhelmed by it, especially over the last few weeks with this lockdown. I have really struggled. I've struggled to get my head around work, and I've actually struggled to advertise what I do, because what I do is intensely personal, and I think I've just been a little bit overwhelmed by the collective grief of what's happened and what's happening. And I needed to just take a little step back to give myself space to be strong and to find the reserves within myself to be able to be there for the families that I work with. So yeah, that's why I love what I do. Okay, my favorite hobby. Sorry, I went on a bit long there, but my favorite hobby, reading. I love to disappear in a book. I find often when I do get overwhelmed or when life just gets a bit much, I need to just withdraw and I need to read. I need to go into someone else's world for a bit. Sometimes it reminds me that mine is not as bad as I thought, and sometimes it's just lovely to be transported into a world that's much lighter, much easier, much more fun perhaps than mine feels at the moment. And also during lockdown I decided that I might try my hand at painting. Well, that's been interesting. I haven't been feeling very creative, and so I thought, well, instead of trying to make something jewelry-wise, I'll just try and spark my creativity by doing something totally different. Hence the Bob Ross reference earlier. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying it, but I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I need to find some sort of painting style that doesn't drive me around the bend. Okay, the fourth question is, what's first on my bucket list? Oh, I had to think about this one a little bit. Obviously, loads of things I do want to do, but one of the things that I think I would push quite high up on my bucket list is I really want to visit Japan. It's a country that has always intrigued me. I'm absolutely blown away by the natural beauty of the landscape in Japan. I love the culture. I've read a lot of books to do with Japan, and I'd say that's probably quite high up on my bucket list, is to visit Japan. So now that I've told you a little bit about myself, I have to nominate 2 people to do this video challenge. So I've given a lot of thought to this, and the first person I want to nominate is Emma Goodman. Emma inspires me. Emma has carried on with quiet determination where so many others would have given up and would have walked away. Emma's really passionate about what she does, working with women's health and helping people to not be afraid of exercise. And I'd really like to hear Emma's answers to these questions. The other person I'd like to nominate is Paul Woodger from Movie Creative. Paul has done all the graphic design work for me on my website and on my branding over the past few years. And Paul is always a really patient, kind, caring voice on the other end of a line. And my gosh, he has had to put up with me going, Paul, I can't do this, or Paul, help. And he has been so giving and so generous with his time and his expertise. And it has been an absolute pleasure and honor to work with him. So yes, I would like to hear his answers to these questions. So that's me, roots and all. Bye.